A very good evening to all of our viewers on Globespan 24x7 as we bring you tonight another Monday night program and a very interesting topic to deal with two of our Guyana's mayors for two of the largest cities in Guyana. Tonight, we are thankful to Nohar Singh for making this platform available, and of course, to Devin Bisu, our technical specialist. Tonight, as we continue this discussion to gather information and for you, our audience, to listen to our guests and to, on your own, make your own assessment. Whether our guest is on target or not is up to you to decide that. But I ask you please to be circumspect to our guests. We bring people on because they have information to share with us. And we are hoping today that we'll have a lot of information from the two mayors, the mayor of Georgetown and the mayor of Linden. So Mayor Ubraj, welcome to the program tonight.
Thank you very much. And thank you to have me on your program this evening.
Okay. And Mayor Arrindell, welcome again to the program.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mayor. It is truly an honor to be here again. We do hope that we can answer those questions that are going to be put to us and, of course, give the public some information on where we are and what we're doing.
Thank you so much. And, of course, my co-host, Dr. Rose. Welcome, Dr. Rose.
Welcome, Charles, and also welcome mayors of Linden and Georgetown, respectively. And it's good to have you again once more. So let's have a stimulating debate tonight.
Okay, thank you. Let me start with the mayor of Georgetown. Mayor Ubraj, what is the state of the city of Georgetown?
The state of the city of Georgetown is it's one that we need to address. It is not in the state that the council wanted to see. We had a 2-day exercise cleanup, which the council was not part of. We wasn't invited of such cleanup exercise. But at our statutory meeting this afternoon, we found out some things which the officers, technical officers, I believe, had wanted to undermine due to the political circumstances at the level of our country, undermine the city council, the government. But the city of Georgetown is not in a proper condition. There are a lot of works need to be done, and that those works needed resources, or I will put it the forums, material, machinery, manpower, and also management in administration. The forums, I will call it.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I go another question to you, Mayor of Linden, how is the state of the city of Linden?
Well, Linden is well, but of course, well means the people, but there's so much more that needs to be done. Our solid waste management is in a horrible state. We have had political interventions in our municipality through our town clerk. That's really going to begin slowing the process of what's happening in our township. And so there's certain things that definitely needs to be changed. And the realization of the importance of local governance and maintaining local governance needs to be understood by this administration.
And mayors, both the city of Linden and the city of Georgetown, correct me if I'm wrong, throughout its history, since independence, those two townships has always been controlled by the mayor who has been aligned to the PNC. Is that so, or is it not so?
That is so. They have been strongholds for PNC, yes.
Okay, so why is it that in the 28 years of the PNC, okay, let me rephrase that statement. When was the city of Georgetown and the city of Linden went into a state of apparently no return? Because I remember, Mayor Ubraj, I'm sure a young man growing up, you will have heard that Georgetown is the Garden City. Now, Well, not now, many years ago, Georgetown became the garbage city. Why was that so, Mayor?
Well, on that part of your note there, I've read, I've learned as well that the city of Georgetown being a garden city, and I agree with you by some extension, where it not now it being a garbage city. Well, I only can speak when I took over office. I received a city which was cleaned. Every control, you make mention of control by the PNC political party, but you have to look at it a different angle, and the different angle is that from 2015 to 2020, with part on the city was taking shape. We were sit on many committees. We were involved in many things as a city because of the government, the ministers, the party in power. But since 2020 mid to now, we have been in a terrible situation that where the city council is not involved in many projects, in many consultation and subvention allocated to the city, partnership with ministry and government agency. Why those things has to happen with the new administration? Why we couldn't continue in the same way we had when I took over office in 2019 to 2020, mid 2020? Why those consultation and partnership couldn't be there still? Why all those things have been everything sidelining, undermining the council since the administration? This has a lot to deal with government, which government is in power, because we are PNC mayors and we control the PNC party, or the majority of the councillors are PNC. We control the city. That it has nothing to do with that. It has about policy and principle and benefit for the people of the city of Georgetown. Has nothing to do with which political party control. Let us be realistic. 23 years of the PPP, the only entire Starbucks here was a pile of garbage. You go right now, it's the same thing is happening again. Solid waste is a major issue, not in the city alone, throughout our country. Why our people in the diaspora and here Guyana and government official, let us establish a national solid waste management policy or plan so that we can able to manage our solid waste throughout Guyana. It's not Georgetown alone. It's a concept where we need to implement the legislators need to implement legislation and policies to help the municipalities and the NDCs so that we can able to enforce those acts of that whatever act passed in parliament for deal with littering, building codes, and all these things. Those things need to review. You can't expect to live in the 21st century and still operate with a bylaw which passed 1921, 1925, 1946. How can a 21st century move forward with those bylaws?
And I know Mayor Arrindell want to come in, but Mayor Ubraj, you just mentioned those ordinances in 1920s. But the last time I checked, the PNC was in office from 1962, I believe, to 1990. Those bylaws were not changed.
1964.
The PNC was back in office in 2015 to 2020. The bylaws were not changed. So Mayor Arrindell, why are we putting the blame on the, and I'm not defending any party here, please. I don't think I'm against PNC either. But why do we keep putting blame on?
I would like to
Mayor.
question. No. You're defending a party because you're pitching questions from 1960 something to 1990. I born 1991. You have
No,
to
but
go ask the
Mayor,
then leaders who ruled then. Why didn't you
Mayor,
question in
Mayor,
1992 to 2015? We must be realistic here, right? You can't say that those
Mayor
bylaws are
Ubraj.
still. This is 24th centuries. And we need to understand the logic behind the 21st century. You can't ask a question why the PNC. That was then.
No, my question, Mayor Ubraj, my question was, you mentioned that we have ordinances in the 1920s. And my question to you was that the PNC was in office from 1964 to 1992. None of us, and even President Forbes Barnum was the mayor of Georgetown at one time. So he would have known the problem that the mayorship is facing, but none of those things were changed. Why do we have this animosity against the PPP when they come into office? That's my question.
No one have anything against the PPP, but these things are alluded to change even in the then government, right? I have no apology to make. And I keep pressing since I took office. The lot of recommendation was made from the council. And when 2019 I took office, no confidence happened in the December 2019, right? So these things are there, need to be changed. Consultation has happened.
2018, Mayor.
2018, sorry.
Yeah.
No, it can't be 2018, sorry, it's 2019.
No, it's 2018 and the election was held in 2020.
No, the 2018.
It was December 2018, yes. But that's.
No.
When was the election held? March 2020, is that correct?
2020. The no confidence
right.
took place in 2019, I think.
No, December 2018. But let us move on. Mayor Arrindell, you're the president of the mayor of the largest township in Guyana. If we have, and there are problems, what Mayor Ubraj is saying that apparently the city of Georgetown was clean during the coalition time, but now it's filthy. What would you say about Linden?
I want to first give a reference, especially related to all that was discussed prior.
Yeah.
I think our problem in this country generally is that we continue to cast blame, when what we do need is constitutional reform. And when we look back at history of who was in power and when they were in power, and the changes of powers that we've had over the years, we've got to move away from the fact that who was there and what should have been done. What we need to say now is that it was not done for whatever reason it was. And the difficulty I see us facing now in a technologically advanced world, as against what was happening in past and the problems we're facing, I can definitely now feel and understand some of the strain we've had with constitutional reform. The time has now come that the constitutional reform needs to happen for municipalities, regardless of who sits in the seat of government and who sits in the seat of opposition. Both persons need to come together and decide how we will reform local government. Because if we don't, we will continue to be where we are. Our garbage will not be picked up because we can't afford to. And what the Constitution actually says is that we should garner the funds we need to pick up. But because there have been no constitutional reform to have the finances need to do it, we are in the state we're in. Linden is not in a good place, especially as it relates to solid waste management. And that is definitely because we cannot afford to remove the solid waste we have based on the finances that we have. And that's only one issue. But I really want to home into the fact that we have got to stop casting blame at some point, and somebody's got to pick up the mantle. When you take over a governmental seat, sadly, the mantle becomes yours to carry. And so the time for us to sit down to talk about what it is we need to do as municipalities and as government has to happen, and it has to happen soon. so that we can bring some sort of solution to the issues we're having in our municipalities right now. Every municipality, I can say to you, because when I was called for this program, I made it a point to call all the municipalities to find out what is happening. What's happening with solid waste? What's happening with all your issues? It's a general issue across all borders that we've got to fix. And those who are in the seat of government have got to be the one that stands up and say, hey, let's get it done.
And before Dr. Rose come on, I know Dr. Rose, but Mayor Arrindell, that's the last time you were on, we spoke about the same thing, that the city council, all city councils, they have the authority to raise the revenue that they need to take care of their expenses. That you're given that authority, it's in the law. So I don't quite, and again, I don't know the running of the municipalities. I mean, you're the mayor, you know exactly what's going on. But why are we not implementing, or why are you not taking the power that you have as the municipality to get the job done? They act give you the power to raise additional revenue to take care of your expenses.
I can answer that slightly, and I hope if I do that, it was correct I got, because we did ask those questions when you came out. The line to raise those rates for us has to do with reevaluations of our properties. So the rates we're able to raise in Linden has to do with specifically our markets and our businesses. We can raise those rates. But when it comes to the household rates, it has to do with a reevaluation of properties, which comes through central government. And we were told that central government at this point is not interested in raising the rates of the people in the country, and so they will not be doing the reevaluation. So while we are working on the businesses for what we can do, there are some things we definitely cannot touch at this point. That definitely requires central government's intervention.
Well, Mayor, I think we lost Mayor Ubraj, but if the central government is against what the municipality is supposed to do to raise adequate revenue to take care of their day-to-day expenses, then there is the way to the court, that the court must force the government to either, one, give the municipality those authority to do whatever you have to do, or the central government have to make up that shortfall with a subvention. So, and the courts of Guyana has been very fair, I believe. I think we have, I think I can honestly say that we have a very independent court at this point in time, don't you?
I wouldn't say that, but I'd be for another discussion.
No, but in terms of,
I feel the court is partial, but and I agree with you, there are lines and ways to go, but each of that requires so much from us. Because even if they say to us, look, you can do your reevaluation, that comes with a cost to the council that councils cannot bear at this point. And that's why we may need to reach out again and have central government come in to assist. And the willingness of central government to assist is what we'll need to have on our side.
Yeah, Mayor Ubraj is back. And Doc, sorry, I'm taking your time.
Go ahead.
But we know that the rates and taxes that the city is collecting, whether the city of Georgetown, the city of Linden, the city of New Amsterdam, the city of Corriverton, is way below the cost to run the city. So you cannot get a magic wand and get things done. You either increase your revenue base, and one of the ways, as you said, is the appraisal of building. And if the government, through the minister, is saying that no, you cannot do it, then municipalities should come together and go to the courts for the court to give a ruling. I mean, it's that simple. I don't see why we keep blaming, and we are taking no action. Mayor Ubraj, your mute is on.
Thank you very much. I agree with you. I agree with you totally that the municipality, there is the Guyana Association of Municipality, and that organization can able to make representation for the municipality in terms of those what you make mention of. It is long overdue. For example, with Georgetown, I know of the list of revaluation for property was done since 1996. That is over 20 years ago. And the Act stated very clearly every 5th year a revaluation ought to be done in these towns, villages, and city.
Dr. Rose?
Yes, I'm asking this question to both mayors. I want to know the structure of the municipality. We have a mayor, we have councillors, but how is the town clerks appointed? Mayor Arrindell?
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's for me first?
Yes.
Town clerks are supposed to be appointed in collaboration with your municipality. The municipality should be recommending for it to go to the local government commission, and then the local government commission does the hiring. That should be the way in which it's done. Advertisements for the position should be done through the municipality, given on the guidelines of the commission, and then interviews, and the council makes a recommendation to the commission for the position to be filled.
And before Dr. Rose, sorry, is there a minimum requirement in qualification for a city clerk?
Yes, there is.
Okay. Yeah, go on, Dr. Rose, sorry.
You, Mr. Mayor Georgetown, His Worship, is the same process?
Is the same. Are you hearing me? Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, it's the same process, but at this point of time, we have the local government commission imposing officers on us. I can speak.
We're not hearing you, Mayor.
Are you hello?
Yeah, we're hearing you now. Yeah, you broke up just.
Yes, the same process and procedure that the mayor of Linden outlined it earlier.
Okay. Now, here's a question I think both of you should be doing good. Now, I want to ask the mayor of Linden first. You've been elected for a 3rd term, and you said that you're going to do a number of things, including to be more visible in the communities. That is 1. 2, you want to increase revenue collection. And 3, you want to collaborate with the Ministry of Housing to hand you back some of those schemes and regularize them. How far have you gone in those 3 processes?
I'll go from bottom up. As it relates to the Central Housing and Planning Authority in terms of handing over of those schemes, we are in contact, we have reached out. However, the schemes are still inadequately serviced. And so the municipality's interest to collect the schemes as is a bit problematic. The CHMPA has not yet said if they were going to hand over those schemes. I know the last meeting, they're still looking through and designing and figuring out what are some of the works that needs to be done. The basic services that should be in, which are roads, lights, and water. And that's what we're waiting for a response from. As it relates to increased revenue collection, we have been working with the administration, and there are several ways in which we intend to increase revenue collection. One of those programs is, as we await the government's step to do reevaluation, the council is projecting to the people of Linden, all the people that we service, whether they're under our jurisdiction or not, for a fee of $500 per month that would come towards the municipality, but specifically to help with solid waste management, electricity, and the basic services that is needed in the community. We are in the process of preparing the proposal for that to present to the people of Linden. We are increasing our market spaces. We are going to be working on the opening of market spaces in Amelia's Ward, Half Mile, Wizrock, Caracara, which would allow us to not only just increase our revenue collection, but also reduce the blight we have seen within the Central Business District and have persons in better places. As it relates to visibility, that has not totally taken its courses yet. We are in the process of creating our online and television once weekly report update for the township, but that's where we are at this point. We have slated our community outreach from February that happens every weekend in a different community. that would start in the month of February, along with the mayor and councillors going into our communities and talking to our people. And that's where we are in those three aspects.
Mayor Narine there?
I think he's off again.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question, Mayor Arrindell. As I said, you took office in Mayor Narine, you're here. Let me ask you a question, Mayor Narine. You said when you were elected, I'm here to build bridges, not walls. Have you built any bridges?
You're on mute, sir.
You're on mute. Your mute is on.
Thanks, Dr. Rose. Of course, we had a good relationship in terms of the GCCI, the Georgetown Chambers of Commerce, on last year they didn't renew. Hello?
Yeah, I'm there. We're listening to you.
Until we had an MOU signed with GCCI, we had an MOU signed with the Shipping Association. We had done a consultation for the littering bylaws, which is now with the minister. We had done a new building codes in consultation with the Engineer Association. That is still with the Engineer Association. The reason why our city engineers actually fails to give us his view. We're still waiting on his views to add in that building bylaws or building codes. We had partnership with some organization in terms of restoring some bridges in some constituency in 2019. We had partnership with the then Minister Patterson, who was in charge of the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. We had done some roads in the city, in the Ministry of Communities. Then Minister Bulkan, we had partnership in terms of cleaning the constituency, that each constituency received $5 million per year. 15 constituency is $75 million per year. That was budgeted in the national budget for. Government had given us that. And those money used to maintain and repair bridges, roads, clean up alleyways, and primary, secondary drains in the constituency. So in fact, we had also partnered with the then minister who was responsible for sports in terms of some of the grounds and play fields to bring it to a standard so that children can be able to have access to those grounds. Since the new government, we haven't had any kind of those kind of thing, and I don't know the reason why. We have reached out. We met. I had met with the ministers. We had talks and so on, but it was promised to us, but nothing fulfilled.
Mayor Arrindell, what are your three most accomplishments since taking office?
It's a tough question. I think it's more of the process of where we are and where we've been. What we have done so far, we have been able to work with Mr. Samuel Wright to develop a Linden waste management strategy, of which we have already presented to the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development. And we do hope that they can come on board with us so we can work together. I think that's one of our major issues in Linden, and we need that strategy in order for us to be effective. It's not just the cleaning and the clearing of the tongue, it's about the maintaining of that tongue and making sure that fines are in place to find those persons who step out of line, because lots of times we clean and we clear, but there's nothing in place for us to maintain. And so that's one of the strategies we hope to get completed. We have been working in collaboration with the Ministry of Local Government, Lands and Survey, CHMPA, our water and light companies, because what we found in Linden is that there's an increase in squatting in several areas across Linden. But what we've also found is that those lands that squatting has begun on are lands that can be adopted by the government in order to develop housing schemes. And so we're sitting down in conversations with these organizations, hoping that we can have them in one place. We've started the initial meeting. We've taken them to the site, and hopefully we can restructure what's happening as it relates to the increased squatting that we've had within Linden. We have worked on the rehabilitation of our historical sites across Linden in collaboration with the Region 10 Tourism Committee. And it's our hope that we can truly develop outside of this a little more than just the site, but how do we create and redesign those sites as Linden is moving towards a tourism destination. For the first time in Linden, we are in the process of creating an open space. As you know, there's not a lot of open spaces. There've been no open spaces per se in Linden. And so what we're doing at this point, we're creating an open space that will accommodate both children and adults. The children can be out in the afternoons and the adults can relax. We're looking to redesign the aesthetics of the dike area. If anybody knows the dike, it's a 1 mile long stretch. However, while there can be no structures on the dike, our intention is to create the dike for such a place where persons can go and exercise in the afternoons, you know, and work out. We have with us again, Mr. Samuel Wright, along with central government, and we're looking towards the development of our riverfront, which has been a passion for Mr. Wright, and definitely something that we need. We do believe that the riverfront is not being used for what it can be, and so we're working on that, and we've had some support along the way on that in that aspect. So these are a couple of the things we're looking at. Along with that, we're looking at institutional reform. We're trying to digitize the council in terms of payments, because we have a lot of persons overseas who wait until they come home to pay. So we're looking at digitizing the system in the municipality itself so that we can have a better service plan. So those are just a couple of things that we're doing to see how we can improve Linden itself.
All right, Doug, before you go on, we take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we will continue the discussion.
Okay, thanks.
Make your vacation a memorable one. Enjoy your trip just as if you are at home. Your music, your culture, and your way to have fun, with all you can eat and drink at an all-inclusive vacation. You choose the all-inclusive vacation that suits you. July 14th to July 18th is Bollywood on the beach, plus Indo-cultural in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. July 21st to July 25th, Christian Community Week in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. July 28th to August 1st, Curry Duck Curry Competition in Cancun, Mexico. August 4th to August 8th, Caribbean Throwback Week, Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. And August 11th to August 15th, Soca vs. Indian, Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Seats are available from New York, Miami, Orlando, Atlanta, Newark, Canada, Trinidad, and Guyana. Meet up with family and friends, and plus make new friends at all these inclusive vacations. TravelSpan has your vacations, plus cheap seats to Guyana and Trinidad. Call TravelSpan today at 718-845-0437. That's 718-845-0437. In Canada, call 647-557-6200. In Guyana, call 227-1701. And in Trinidad, call 645-1604. All From One Supplier is pleased to announce its online shipping for West Indian and American groceries. Order online at allfromonesupplier.com and with free shipping and deliveries to any part of the United States. Save time and energy to shop for all of your West Indian groceries from the safety of your home or office. We carry West Indian products like curry powders, meats and fish, dashing bush, pepper sauce, sodas, and your favorite snacks. All From One Supplier has it all. All From One Supplier fulfills and ships your order directly to you. So visit All From One Supplier today to start shopping, or call All From One Supplier at 718-551-3292 to handle all of your West Indian grocery needs. That's All From One Supplier, 718-551-3292. Free shipping, free deliveries, or curbside pickup from allfromonesupplier.com. Folks, the Nest Restaurant is the place to dine for Guyanese and Caribbean dishes. It is the best restaurant in Queens. The staff is courteous, and Dave, the owner, is always there to welcome you. So for a memorable dining experience, visit the Nest Restaurant located at 12717 101 Avenue, South Richmond Hill. Go and make a reservation today or takeout. Call 718-847-4035. Dave West Indian Products is the only distributor of 100% authentic West Indian products. Dave West Indian supplies fish, vegetables, curry, spices, sodas, and coconut water, plus ghees and much more straight from Guyana and the Caribbean. For all your shopping needs, visit Dave's Guyana Fish and Grocery Market. Dave West Indian products are also available in West Indian stores, Key Food, and allforonesupplier.com. Dave West Indian has a full line of the most desirable products to fit all your needs. So visit Dave Guyana Fish and Grocery Market on 118th Street on Liberty Avenue, or in Maryland at 7505 New Hampshire Ave, or any West Indian stores or allfromonesupplier.com. Dave West Indian, your 100% authentic West Indian product.
Welcome back to all our listeners to Globespan Television 24/7. And we have with us today the Mayor of Linden, Mistress Waneka Arrindell, and the Mayor of Georgetown, I should say, our worship and his worship, Mayor Ubraj Narine. Mayor Narine, I know you're not on the camera right now, but 2 weekends ago, the president spearheaded a campaign, a cleanup campaign for the city of Georgetown, and you opposed it. Tell us briefly why you'd oppose the campaign.
The reason why not, hello,
Yeah, go on, Mayor. We're hearing you.
opposing of that cleanup exercise is that after issuing such a statement, then actually I received call from officials of government. No consultation had done with us. No kind of form of, maybe if we didn't want to engage the council, write to the official letter, called me like on my phone, and I will able to raise it at the level of the council, and we send our technical officers to deal with those matters. Because what I had would really appreciate it if that we was involved as a major stakeholder. We will have to put mechanisms, some system, some strategy in place to maintain these areas, which will be something good for the council. I happy the city cleaned. I'm the council appreciate everything that the government and the joint service and the private sector did, but what is there to upkeep it? And as a major stakeholder, a major body in the city was not a part and parcel of such exercise.
But Mayor, before Dr. Rose, sorry. For Mayor, you remember when the coalition came into office, President Granger had a cleanup campaign. I think President Ramuta had a cleanup campaign. Now President Ali has a cleanup campaign. They're having a cleanup campaign because the city is not managing the city properly. So why does every new government come in has to go have a cleanup campaign? You should keep the city clean.
Well, what you're going to use is to keep the city clean. If you're not getting the right subvention and the right help from government, which stipulated very clearly in the Fiscal and Transfer Act, Chapter 7304, Section 7.
Mayor, sorry to cut you in.
I'm finished.
Mayor Ubraj?
That environmental tax. You have to ask where the environmental tax goes to. The city or towns don't receive a percentage from those taxes, right? We run the city, and you make mention, which you know of, that the rates and taxes of the city council cannot maintain the boundaries. City of Georgetown have been extended. The boundaries and wards cannot maintain. And Professor Rose, which was appointed by Dr. Chelly Jagan in 1994, stated very clearly, as an IMC, stated very clearly in his report that the city cannot sustain itself on rates and taxes alone. We need other areas of revenue and government help.
Go on, Doc.
Clarify which Professor Rose that is.
Yeah, the Chancellor from University of Guyana, the
Professor
Vice
Rose.
Chancellor.
Okay, I know. Now, Mayor Arrindell, would you follow the President's footsteps and organize a cleanup campaign at Linden?
Your mute is on, Mayor.
Your mute is on.
Thank you very much. So Linden has already started a cleanup campaign. We've done that last year, September. We linked with the churches and business community, and we've been able to clean up. And the second tranche was set for Easter, but I do know at this point that there has been contact made with the municipality. Yes, there have been contact made with the municipality coming out of our Linden restoration project last year, and the Ministry of Communities along with the RDC has contacted the community to have a cleanup this Sunday. While it's a bit late, the municipality is going to make sure that they provide the necessary information so that we can ensure that Linden is clean the way it should be. So between what we've had and what we're going to have some intervention come this weekend that would help to ease what we have to do in April.
As both of you are aware, mayors are not being paid salaries. They're being paid a stipend. Do you think mayors should be paid? And because of being paid a stipend, mayors have to find a secondary job or a first job to maintain their families, which means that you all are actually part-time mayors. Do you think mayors should be paid a full salary?
Can I be, is that a one-off question, or I can give a reason for my answer?
Whatever you want to do.
So definitely I believe that mayors should be paid and should be full-time, but again, it comes with a constitutional reform in terms of how we are electing mayors, how the system runs. So we need to have that sit down. We need to get that constitution in hand. We need to change that guideline because it's very difficult for me, especially for me, because I'm a teacher. It's very difficult to go to work and then come in the evenings and do what you have to do here. So definitely we need to have that reform, and mayors should be paid and given more than just paid. Mayors are not given duty-free concessions. Mayors are not given anything. So at this point, if it takes some reform, that's what we need to get that in place by the time they're ready to have the next election.
His Worship, Narine?
I share the same view with the Mayor of Linden.
So why don't the mayors come together, propose a constitutional reform whereby mayors should be paid full-time and serve as mayors full-time and not part-time?
Definitely that's something GAM has to take up, and I think we discussed this the last time. We have not been able to really pull ourselves together with all that has been happening in every municipality, but I know that I think Georgetown has reached out to us and another municipality, and we're going to have that sit down to discuss which parts of these constitution of the constitution we need to approach the government for. But of course, the government has not acknowledged GAM as an organization, but regardless of that, we're going to continue to work together to see what we can do.
Now, Mayor Narine, one last question before I let Charles come in. Someone said getting something done is leadership. Not getting something done is not leadership. Mayor Narine.
I didn't hear you clearly, Dr. Wu, sorry.
Someone said, a philosopher once said, getting something done is leadership, and not getting anything done is not leadership. Between the previous government and this government, which of the two governments you think are more supportive of Georgetown and your policies?
The previous government.
Why?
Reasons. For example, the solid waste department, the previous government used to assist the mayor city council to pay those contractors. The money don't come to us from the ministry, goes directly to those contractors. The bidding process took place at the level of the city, and also I make mention of the 75 million Guyana dollars used to given to the city council for 15 constituency to maintain, like, for example, you have a cleanup exercise finish, we will have to sit, go through the agenda of this cleanup exercise and what mechanism, what system we will put in place. The technical officers will request, well, you need maybe a garbage truck, you need some more manpower, some more machinery to do the cleanup or to maintain the areas. And do note that if we look at the cleaning up exercise, the amount of machinery, trucks, and all these things manpower had used, the city council don't have those type of machinery unless government assists us. The Ministry of Local Government assisted us in getting those equipment. So those are the things that I have looked forward to maintain with this current government. And I believe it can happen, but I don't know the reason why the government do not want to involve the mayor and city council. There are many accusations had made in its medium about the mayor and city council in the finance. The minister had ordered a audit, which had done already a year past and no pronouncement. So those are things. The Minister of Local Government made a statement that mayor and city council is overstaffed. We have too much of staff. However, the council take the minister advice in 2021, and we recommended to the Local Government Commission that 2 sections for the city council to be closed off. So we're gonna not get rid of the workers, but we'll give the workers the pension, the gratuity, and everything. We shut down those 2 sections. However, the Local Government Commission did not act upon that recommendation, but we act with the advice of the Honorable Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Minister Nigel Daramlal. So collaboration is really in need of with central government and the city. The city, I will be very honest to you, the city alone cannot do it. With that cleanup exercise that the then government had done, the city was able to receive 3 garbage trucks, right? 3 garbage trucks to maintain, and yet 3 garbage trucks cannot do the work. We need more. We need to get things done, and we need government assistance. The city cannot run itself by rates and taxes alone. When you have a $2.4 billion budget, but the revenue you collect is $1.5 billion.
Mayor, have you received a full subvention this year from the government?
Well, I hope so. I did not receive, the council did not receive any subvention in 2020, neither 2021. 2021, we receive a cash grant of 30 million towards the administrative building, and why I justify cash grant. In 2019, we receive a cash grant of 65 million towards the admin building, plus 30 million subvention, and plus 75 million for maintenance of the 15 constituencies.
Mayor Arrindell, which of the 2 governments you think are supporting Linden better?
Say that again for me.
Which of the 2 governments you think are more supportive of your policies in Linden?
Is that like a trick question?
I don't know if it's a trick question. I'm just asking.
I have found that whoever sits in the seat of government is entitled to serve this township. As such, anybody who sits there, I make sure I get the best out of them.
Good answer. Charles, over to you.
Okay, Mayor Ubraj, you just mentioned that the budget, your expenditure per year is, you said 2.2 billion, is that correct?
Last year, budget that we passed at the level of the council, I think, was 2.4 billion.
That's the expenditure.
Well, I can't give that at this point of time.
No, the budget that you passed, you said was 2.4 billion. That was the expense for the city council for 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
What was your revenue during that last year?
Well, like I said, I don't have those information with me here.
Okay. When was the last, and Mayor Arrindell, what's your annual budget there in Linden?
I think $1.4 billion.
We had $1.4 billion, I think.
That's the actual expense?
That's what would be our actual expense.
The budgeted expense. And what was your income?
About 19 million.
1.9 billion. Your mute is on, Mayor.
Hold me, I'm just getting the information.
By the time Mayor Arrindell is yeah, go on.
1 billion.
So 1.4 was the expenditure, and we made 1 billion. 1.4
so, right,
billion.
So in both municipality, there was a shortfall in terms of revenue against your expenses.
Yes.
Was that presented to the government? Was that shortfall presented to the government?
It is presented to, I think we sent our report to the minister and to the local government commission, yes.
And did you request a bridge in the deficit that you would have had between the actual expenses or the budget expenses and your actual income?
No, we did not.
Mayor Ubraj, did you do that?
As usual, sir, yes, the budget of the council was be sent to the minister with all details and information for his perusal, so he knew exactly. And the other request does be there.
Okay. Mayor Arrindell, when was the last time the books of Linden, the municipality, was audited?
I cannot give that offhand, but I think the last time we came in 2016, 2017, I think we had an audit begun, but I can't tell you that it was completed as yet.
So 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, they're still outstanding.
Yes, but we did ask for one. We did ask for one.
Is it asking for one, or is that required by law to have it audited every year?
It is required by law. It is required by law. But you need to remind sometimes.
So who do the audit? The Auditor General?
I would assume so, because yes, it comes from government through the Ministry of Local Government.
Okay. Mayor Ubraj, when was the last time the Georgetown City Council books were audited?
Only recently, when when I took office, there was like 2 audits. I can't recall the one. I think was done by the local government commission, and one was done by this government through the ministry. However, we had requested audit as well.
But you as the mayor, when was the last time you had an audited financial statement for the city of Georgetown?
We have the internal auditor section, which that section is currently auditing all books. There's a work program set out by the audit committee, so those things are up and running every year. However, externally, the Auditor General ought to come whenever I think the minister or the council requests the Auditor General to come and do audit. We welcome that at any time. We welcome audit at any time of the City Council.
So you're not sure when last time an audit was done?
Last year.
No, the entire books of the audit, like the income and expenses, like the regular. You have the internal auditor and then the external.
The minister had audit, and we welcome it.
Okay.
All
so you
books,
have the
all
up-to-date
staff, everything was audited.
So you're up to date with your audit in Georgetown.
Yeah.
Okay. Littering is still a big problem in Guyana. Even though after the president in Georgetown, and then Mayor Arrindell is saying that in Linden, she's going to start it hopefully by Easter. But after the president and his team cleaned up Georgetown, there were so many people blatantly going and throwing litter again. There are litter laws in the books. Why are those laws not implemented? Mayor Ubraj?
Point it out to me. Where? In the books.
Huh?
Where in the books there's littering bylaws?
Oh, there's no littering bylaws in the books? I've seen the municipalities arresting people for littering on the street. They can't do it unless it's in the books.
Mr. Sugrim, there's no littering bylaws in the 28 to 1. The person who littered there and be arrested, they have to prosecuted at the court level, where, and you have to understand this here, where the municipality do not get back those revenue. We, at the level of the city council, recently approve a littering bylaws and send it to the honorable minister for his final perusal and approval, so that we can implement that littering bylaws in the city of Georgetown. Simple example, Starbuck News, if you look at it, that same very arrest and placed before the court for littering. They was given bail and they have to appear again in court, right? Additional expense to the citizens as well, time consuming, when you can have a littering bylaws with a ticket given 72 hours to pay that ticket directly to the city council or the town council. So that money goes to the city council or the town council, and those money can able to do different things in the service
bridge the revenue gap. Okay, Mayor Arrindell, is there a littering law in Linden, or there's none as well?
No, sir, none.
But have you arrested? I mean, or your municipal officers, have they arrested anyone for littering?
No.
You didn't do that. Okay. Mayor Ubraj, there was this parking meter fiasco that we learned the other day. The company out of Mexico, I believe, is now suing the city council and the government of Guyana for the breach of contract. What do you have to tell us about that?
I have no knowledge on the parking meter. I was not a councillor nor the mayor. I never given a document since took office. I do have no knowledge on it.
So you're saying no one briefed you as the mayor of Georgetown about the contract for the parking meter?
No, sir. I never had anything on such project, and I can't answer that. I don't know nothing about the parking meter.
Okay. I want to get back. I know, what's the population like in Georgetown that comes on the city council? How many people do you have in the city of Georgetown?
Georgetown is the base of our country, which you know.
I know. What's the population like there within your city?
Population is in Georgetown here.
So you have 300,000 people?
Maximum.
Do you know what the population of Georgetown is for the mayor with that encapsulated?
It's about 312,000 people.
312,000. What about Linden, Mayor? What's the population of Linden within your mayorship?
We're about 40,000 persons.
40,000. Mayor, I want to get back to the cemetery. Here in the US, and I'm not comparing US to Guyana, because when the British left Guyana, as we all know, we keep blaming the white man, he was so bad. But when he left Guyana, our cemeteries were in more area than not, especially Lapentir Cemetery was spick and span. There were roads driving in, the cemetery was properly kept. We took over after independence, and we have the right term to use, I don't want to use it on television, but we really messed it up. Here in the US, you can actually drive into a cemetery, you can park, you can go and have something to eat, you can sit down, there's benches, the grass is properly cut, But having said that, the people who, well, for those of our family who passed away, you have to pay maybe $2,000, $3,000 for a a grave site, which is in Guyana is like 400,000, 600,000 Guyana dollars. That's not possible to pay there. But have you considered, you have that under your control, to increase the rate for burial and use that revenue to take care day in, day out, every single day of the year, to take care of the maintenance of the cemeteries? Mayor Arrindell, we can start with you in Linden.
I get called first a lot on these shows. I'm gonna have a conversation.
You're the president of the mayor council, right?
So I think when we came in 2016, we found that the cost was about 20% of what we'd actually spend to actually do the burial and maintain. So what we've done in Linden, if I must say, we have one of the most beautiful sites for you to rest your loved ones. We had to come up with a system where the maintenance cost was not as consistent as it should be because we went further in depth. So we have raised, but we have raised with the consideration of persons in mind. So we have paved areas, we have tiled areas, we have graves. And that has helped us a lot to maintain and to kind of keep the burial site and the aesthetics of it beautiful. So we've seen a lot of people going with the tiled area, which allows us to pave the entire space, tile it, so we don't have that growth of plants and stuff that we've been having prior. So there have been some work, there have been some increase, and Linden has come on board with us. And so we're doing a far better job than we were doing when we were here in 2016.
How many cemeteries you have?
Keep a space up there for Charles.
There's space.
No, Linden is a beautiful place. How many cemeteries do you have there in Linden?
We only have one at this point, but we are we have Bamia. That's two. Bamia is privately owned by the church, and they bury people from Bamia and those who attend the church. Then we have the one in Linden proper, which is filling up quite quickly at this point. We're doing about 40 deaths per month with all that's been happening. So we are in the process of requesting a new burial site somewhere else, but we're working towards making it better.
Has the business association been a partner with you to maintain your burial site, the business community?
We did not know. We did not think of that. That's a good thing, and we're definitely going to go in. But we do have some businesses, especially the contractors, who would help us clean, expand, clear our drains, and keep those areas. So we've had some sort of support from those communities at some point.
Yeah, okay. Mayor Ubraj, I know it's more challenging in Georgetown because the Lapentier is like the entire Georgetown anyway. It's a huge place. Plus you have cemeteries on the East Coast, you have cemeteries on the East Bank, within your Georgetown municipality. I mean, have you considered when someone passes away and the family come to pay for a plot of land to bury their loved one or to build a tomb, that revenue goes to the city council, does it?
Yes, sir.
And is that revenue sufficient to take care of the cemetery?
I believe 10,000 Guyana dollars for burial spot is like $50 US, comparing New York to Guyana. So it is not.
Right, but have your municipality considered? I mean, I know you got to consider your population. They can't afford very high prices, but have you considered increasing the price so that at least you can take care of the expense of at least cleaning it and maintaining the structure on a day-to-day basis?
We have to understand very clearly that it's not all about revenue. And I agree what you're saying there, but the cost of living, someone's salary, where how can we increase such a revenue? We can't charge someone maybe 20 and 50,000 for a spot. That would not be, because they're poorer class of people in this country, especially there's depressed areas in the city. So you have to be very careful on our policies, how we're gonna charge those revenue. But what I want to say, sir, is that the same way the president had to lead and exercise cleanup in the city, and I'm calling, I want to join. The city council is ready to join hands with this government for the enhancement of Georgetown and for the development of its people. And let us do the similar thing to the cemetery. Let us clear it. Let us have the government and the private sector and the city council and other stakeholders come together. Let us clean the cemetery and let us come up with some kind of system to maintain and manage those areas when it's finished, clean and cleared.
Mr. Mayor, in fairness to to what you're saying there, as Dr. Rose said, a leader must lead. A captain is the captain. A captain must captain. Do you have a plan in the city council for the administration and maintenance of the cemetery?
Yes, there's a full proposal on the cemetery, sir. Full proposal, which was
where is that
submitted
proposal, sir?
which was submitted to the then ministry, the communities, Minister Bulkan. And when we met with the Minister of Local Government in 2020, both minister, senior and junior minister, these projects was discussed at that level.
Okay. Mayor Arrindell, as the president of the Mayors Association, do you have a regular meeting with the minister in charge of the municipalities, local government? Your mute is on.
The ministers?
Well, there's a minister who overlooks local government, right?
Oh, no, we don't.
Was that meeting requested? I mean, have you guys sit down with the minister and said, Minister, maybe we need to meet at least once a month, put in your calendar so we can.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, if the minister put in a calendar that he's meeting the municipality, every first Tuesday of every month or every first Thursday of every month, whatever it is, I don't know. Of course, you got to bear in mind his schedule. But have you approached the minister for a regular meeting so at least he can keep abreast of what's going on, and of course he's informed, and you're also informed of what the government plan is for the municipalities?
Okay, I did speak with the minister, and we did send in what GAM's plan was, but the ministry is not interested in its support to GAM. And I think I said earlier, while that is not necessarily a significant issue, because as mayors together, we can maintain and keep GAM running, functioning, so that we can manage and make representation. So we have not had any further discussions, but definitely something for us to reach out back again with. But of course, we first need to get ourselves together. So when we step up to the minister, we have something that we're going with as mayors, regardless of where we are.
Yeah, because animosity between the different, mayorship and the government, you can't get nothing done. I mean, if we can, we don't have to agree with everything, but at least we can meet and it's on the table. So whatever can be done, it should be done. And now that we have the local content bill passed, and now we have, hopefully oil revenue will come in, in a greater volume, that at least there'll be more money available to have the municipalities do their work and so on. So I think the communication between the municipalities and the government is so important.
Definitely, and I do agree with you. I've said that once to my minister. I said, because when you're voted in, you're no longer minister of the opposition or the party that voted you in. You're a minister for all people. And
Precisely.
I said that as the minister, we need to be able to meet, we need to be able to talk, and we need to be able to develop. So that's what we definitely have to do.
And that also goes to being mayor. When you're elected mayor, you're mayor for all the people, not only for those who elect you, right?
Definitely for all the people.
Dr. Rose?
Arrindell, I will be remiss if I don't wish you a happy birthday. So on behalf of Noor Singh and the staff of Globespan and myself and Mr. Sugrim, happy birthday to you. Happy 16th birthday to you.
Thank you so much. 16 always.
Agreed.
But instead of having said that, Dr. Rose, you have good company because the Vice President's birthday was recently, and Minister Charles Ramson's birthday was recently. So you're in good company.
Now, His Worship Mayor Narine, you said you only have 3 garbage trucks. Am I right?
Yeah,
Mayor
yes, sir.
Narine? How many you think you need to do the task of picking up garbage in Georgetown?
We need about 17 garbage trucks for different
17?
wards. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Mayor Arrindell, how many garbage trucks are in Linden?
We have 1 and 2 halves.
What that means?
2 limping along.
You
I
have
have
3, but only 1 working.
1 large, 1 small, and 2 tractors.
Okay, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yes.
And how many
So
think
what? I need 8, 4 large, 4 small, and working shift system from 5 to 2, and from 2 to 10.
Okay. So you need 8 garbage trucks, and Georgetown need 17, which means that Georgetown needs 15 more, and you need 5 more. Okay. Now, the other question to you all is this. How many employees are employed at Linden, the municipality?
So far, I have about 130.
And His Worship Mayor Narine, how many in Georgetown?
I can't give you an exact figure, but it's over in all the departments with city constabulary and everything. I believe is over 500 staff.
500 staff? Okay. Now, I ask that because His Worship Mayor Narine, you give an increase of 10% to the city workers. But somewhere down the road, when I read how the increase is being split up, I said, there's something wrong here. Because 5% is for last year, and 5% is for this year. So you're even giving them less than the 7% offered by the government. Why?
That is what we afford at this point of time. We cannot match with government increase. And that was advised to the finance committee by the city treasurer acting.
So you have to give them less than what the government actually recommended for public servants. Mayor Arrindell, the same question to you. What was your increase this year?
We always budget for the government's increase, our ability, however, to pay. We are still at 62,800, I think, and that was 2018 minimum wage. So what we try to do is we try to input the budget, but we have not been able to meet the criteria, the amount of finances we need to pay and sustain it. So that's why we're looking for these new revenue streams so that we can at least attempt to sustain. We've been able to sustain the 2018 so far. We gave a 12% last year, and we'll look to see what we can do in this new time.
Mayor Arrindell, do you think the government is doing a good job in fighting the COVID virus in Linden?
Hi. Honestly, no. I would deal with COVID far differently, because at some point we need to take a stand and be stringent in what we're doing. Linden is, if you know the geographics, they are cracks and crevices that consistently have events occurring. So a 12 p.m. curfew is unrealistic for us. And so I think we need to do a better job at it. And one of the things I think the government failed in is that there is no conversation happening with the local persons on the ground. You need to come on the ground. You need to assess how each community is, how each community functions, and then sit down with those leaders and come up with something that is beneficial for that community. And we have not seen that. And as such, I don't think we're doing it the way it should be done.
Mayor Narine? Mayor Narine?
Yes, Dr. Rose, I
It's
listened to the
coming to a good
question.
job fighting the COVID in Georgetown, Region 4.
Same
Region
thing
4,
here.
Georgetown.
No, I believe the curfew is something to review, and the entire system need to reviewed. But I want to say in this same statement that I believe that if we get a kind of collaboration with the municipality, the region, and the ministry with the task force, we can able to voice our opinion, our views at the municipal level, the regional level, and we can able to deal with it holistically.
And to both mayors, do you think that the government should give you all some resources from the oil to help improve the infrastructure in the municipalities?
That is definitely a yes at all points.
Mayor
Um,
Narine?
I I wouldn't say revenue or some kind of resources, but I believe legislation should be enforced for municipality to garner revenue from these oil companies. Because if you look at developed cities that with oil and gas, and you can research it, their policies and legislations put in place so the city earns its independent revenue from government as well.
Mayor Narine, given all the problems you face in the city, and according to what you've been saying, a certain amount of lack of support from the government, would you seek re-election?
One of the major challenge of the city council, it is for deal with the public in terms of garbage and drainage. That is the two major thing we need to focus on and to deal with it. If we don't, we'll have serious issues later on in terms of dealing with garbage and drainage. It will be worst. However, I can say that re-election is something to be considered. So far, this council had passed or approved many policies to deal with administration issues and the finance of the mayor and city council. So that is something to be considered later, not at this point of time.
You, Mayor Arrindell? And don't give me that smile. Just answer the question.
For me, I will always serve. Will I seek to be reelected? That's going to definitely be a thought because there's so much that needs to be changed. If you ask me, I think my next goal is to see if I can get to that local government commission and make the changes there. I think that's where our downfall is. So maybe I may not be here again, but local governance is my heart. It's what I love because it helps me to meet the people on the ground and to make those small changes where I am. So if I am reelected for some reason, I'll be here. But definitely, if I'm not, I still would like to play a role in the constitutional reform that needs to be done within our within this country. So either or, I'll still lend my support.
But given the way the mayors are elected, obviously you'll be reelected because it's all APNU supporters. The majority of APNU supporters will reelect you.
Oh, definitely not so. No, not so at all.
You'll have
What
competition
happens?
from within.
Right, you have an internal competition first. What we have is you have a small competition where you compete against other person, like a preliminary, and then those persons elected there gets to run. But again, as we talk about constitutional change, this system that we're using will not create the independence local government needs, and that's why I keep saying constitutional reform is needed. People have got to start being elected by the people of their town and not to sit on any political slate at all. When that is done, then we can talk about the independence that you can have as a local leader and be able to approach any party that sits in power to get what you need for your people. So that's what we need. But yes, if I am to be elected, I definitely will serve.
This is for both of you again. Y'all are elected on a yearly basis, am I right?
Yes.
Do you think you should be elected on a 4-year basis?
I would say yes to that. and I'll tell you why. It's counterproductive if you are in a municipality attempting to gain the favorable spot to be re-elected every year. You waste time worrying about if people like you enough. And that is a waste of energy. What we need is to have persons elected by the people to serve. And then if you don't serve well in the 4-year term given, if in 1 year they no longer need you, they can put a no confidence motion and remove you from that seat. But to have it every year is definitely counterproductive, and it does not show how much you can do. Sometime in that first year, you're finding yourself, you're understanding the system, and you're not able to do much implementation. And it looks as though you failed, but it's you trying to find that foundation to work. So I'll say every 4 years, well, right now it's 3 years. Every 3 years would be what I'd suggest for the new local government system.
Mayor Narine?
I share the same sentiment with the Mayor of Linden.
Okay. Now, this is a question, I save it for the last. It's a question for you all to say what's on your mind and why you said this. Both of you in 2020, June. Mayor Arrindell, you said it on June 30th, 2020, and Mayor Narine, you said it on June 23rd, 2020, that President Granger should be sworn in as president. Mayor Narine, why you said that?
Thank you very much, Dr. Rose. I said that because I believe that we won the election. And firstly, secondly, I believe David Granger, the former president, had done an excellent job in terms of giving the municipality, the NDCs, the RDCs, the right to lead and not to interfere. And I believe he had done a lot for our country in terms of helping the local organs to function more properly. I believe also his policies on urban planning development was one of the great one. And the reason why I make mention of that, to date we cannot get a committee to deal with urban planning development within the municipalities. We had one, and it is gone since this government. So the reason why I make mention that is my political view, and I stand by that.
Arrindell?
Yes. So, based on the information given at the time, and based on my understanding of how elections occur, I believe that if GCOM had made a declaration, that declaration should have stand, and that if any party did not like the declaration, they should have gone to the I think it's a petition that they should have gone to. And I'm just saying it should have run the way it was supposed to run, because if we continue to flaunt our constitution, then we're going to become a very weak nation. That would be.
With that said, Charles, over to you.
Yeah, I know we're running out. We have come to end of time program, but before I go, Mayor Arrindell, you're the chair of the president of the councils. Do you have a business plan that is prepared with the foresight to what you expect to generate in revenues and, of course, your expenses, like a 5-year plan, or and then break that down into a 1-year plan? Do you have that business plan, or are you thinking of no, for the council?
Okay.
Are you thinking of doing one? Are you thinking of prepare a real business plan? So I mean, you got to raise revenue, you have expenses. So a business plan need to look at all aspects of revenue generation, and then whatever is not within the law, then you'll have to go to the minister and say, well, minister, we want this done because we need to get this. And have you have the mayors come together and talk about things like that?
No, we have not. I know with Linden itself, and I think a few others, what we've done I think in 2020, we received our 5 years strategic plan, and out of that plan, we're supposed to create our business plan, but we have not started in Linden at least.
Okay, Dr. Rose is there. He can come and help you start the plan so we can.
Thank you, Dr. Rose. You're welcome to Linden.
Just to add to that, Mr. Sugrim, it has been weird sometimes to ask this question. Anyone asks that if the mayors for these municipalities, for example, you have the president. The president, he has advisors, he has technical people, he has ministers. The mayor is a mayor office, right? Mayor and mayor alone with councillors. First thing we have to look at, can we able to hire a consultant to assist us in that? I'm sure Dr. Rose wouldn't come do that free of cost for us, because I will welcome him in the city of Georgetown too. If we can afford to pay those consultants, if we can afford to hire technical officers within the municipality, can we afford those things? We must speak reality. We may throw questions to mayors about projects. Are you expecting that mayors must go to the table without a salary, only a stipend? We must have all these kind of technical ideas and put it in writing and submit it to the council and government. We have to get technical people, just like the president, just like the minister. They have advisors. They have technical people to guide them throughout the process to manage this country. The same way the municipality, the NDCs and the RDCs need those things. Without money or financial support, nothing can happen.
But that's what I'm saying, Mayor, that's exactly what I'm saying. You guys have to get a plan together and then go to the minister and say, this is what we want. And let the minister, leave it in the minister lap and keep following up with the minister, because they are also constrained with what they can do. But the discussion has to begin. And if you're gonna keep blaming people and not doing anything done, then it's telling a lot of people of leadership. Leadership gets things done, not complain. And I know I'm not bashing any of you guys, but I'm saying let us stop complaining and let us get it done. So in closing, Mayor Ubraj, anything in closing, quick, because we run out of time right now.
Quickly, Mr. Sugrim, if the president office, and I have great respect for His Excellency, mayors, I can speak on myself, the mayor's office write His Excellency, highest office in this country, and you don't get a response. And you write the ministers the same thing and you don't get a response. What you expected? Are they leading from examples? We are doing our best at the level of the municipality of Georgetown. I have files and files of letters I sent to His Excellency and various ministers. To date, not one response to the council to communicate to the council.
Okay, Dr. Rose and I will follow it up for you, Mayor. We're gonna see what we can do. Because we need a business plan. We need a business plan. You need to get things done. You got to get bold initiative. And to do that, things are going to start happening. Mayor Arrindell, anything in closing?
For me, in closing, I think my call to the government is to start working with the local organs. Their importance is their relationship with the people on the ground. And we cannot remove ourselves from that. We must have local democracy and we must have those democracy respected. I know that we have reached out to all ministers, but I do believe what's lacking, especially for Linden, for some of the ministers to come, to talk with us, to share with us, and let us tell you what we need. There's too much middleman issues that are happening that cause the mayors to feel disrespected. When a meeting is called and a middleman on the ground is saying, oh, there's something happening here or there's something happening there. Respect for every person, respect for the position in which they're in. And if we can do that as leaders of the country, whether it's local, regional, or national, we're going to be able to move forward quite quickly. So my call is that we wake up as leaders, understand each of our roles, and then let's work together to move this country forward.
Thank you very much, Mayor Arrindell. Thank you so much, Mayor Ubraj. Dr. Rose,
Yes, I'm going back to what I do best. Guyana need better internet services. Too many disconnection during conversations. Government offices should be opened during lunch hours. They should not remain closed. All newly appointed public servants should not wait 3 months before being paid. That's passé. It was not even colonial times. It happened after during independence. The government have got to act swiftly. If this country has to develop, these things must be solved. And 4, public servants should answer their phones. Most public servants do not answer their phones. And folks, I'm telling you this, if any public servant tell you they will call you back, do not believe them. They're telling you a barefaced lie in front of your face. They do not call people back. And 5, government must address mental health issues in this country. It is climbing. It is running at about 44% as we speak today. And that's a high number. And suicidal rates are also skyrocketing, especially after quarantine. Up to today, there's another suicide of the quarantine. And it seems to me that no one is looking at these issues. The government must act to do what is right for the people, the masses. You just can't say, well, people will kill themselves no matter what. No, you should have programs in place to help them. They have hotlines to call us. Anyone, I would ask the minister in charge of the social services, and she's my friend as well, to call that hotline yourself and hear the message, see if anyone will answer it. It is not being answered. So when people are told there's a hotline to call, it's a deadline, not a hotline, a deadline. So I'm asking the government and those in charge, the powers that be, to help solve these problems. And solving these problems is the only way this country is going to move forward and develop. You can't develop a country unless with poor communication system. It's not going to happen. So these are things I'm asking the government to do. Thank you very much to our listeners, and thank you, Mayor Arrindell, and thank you, Mayor Narine, or Warships, I should say.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship, Mayor Arrindell, and Your Worship, Mayor Ubraj. We will see you sometime in the future as we prepare. And I would love to come down there to work with you guys, your business plan as well, because you need to have a holistic view of what you want for your city and then start working towards it. So to our viewers out there, we want to thank you so much to Nohar Singh and to Devin. Thank you so much. God bless our great country of Guyana. Happy birthday to Vice President Bar Jagdeo. Happy birthday to Minister Charles Ramson, and happy birthday to your Mayor Arrindell. So take care, everyone. All the best.